You all undoubtedly know that Kansas was turned into a territory, was created as a territory in 1854, before an acre of its ground had been readied for settlement by having been being surveyed, being measured. And I was looking through some of our archival material, some of which unfortunately is not covered, but I wanted to show you they couldn't buy, the lands weren't available through the General Land Office for 4 or 5 years after territorialhood. And so the only way you could actually pay for land was if you had what's called a military land warrant. People familiar with those? It was land that had been granted people who fought in the wars. And it wasn't specific land, it hadn't been identified, it hadn't been selected or located, but it was the right to an amount of land. And I brought 3 out of curiosity, because I've got some that is from the Revolutionary War, some that's a military warrant from the Black Hawk War, some that's from the Mexican War, and lots and lots and lots of them are from the War of 1812. Now, Revolutionary soldiers were not looking for new land in 1854. They were pretty old if they weren't dead. And so all this was a security. It was something that could be bought and sold. So invariably they say that it's, for the sake of it, this is the Revolutionary War. This is in 160 acres in favor of Anthony Phelps, a private in the Revolutionary War, but it's been assigned to Sam Anthony Phelps. And so it just got sold. It got sold for a discount, and it was just money. And invariably these maybe are assigned to the widow of an 1812 soldier, or very often to Indians. We have them in the county that are many of them Indians, lands, assignments. And so the person who ended up with it, the assignee, could use this to pay for land, and it was the only way you could actually get Kansas land in the 1850s. You could do the other choice, if you didn't have the cash for a military land warrant, was you could go up to Lecompton or over to Paola and file a preemption, and that's squatter rights. That was simply the right to have first dibs on the land when it became available. And they started surveying it right away, but it still took a while. Eventually, when the land did come online, in Kansas it had many sources, and so one of the sources was the sale of the lands on the eastern side of the county, which are where the little Cass County communities were, around Peoria Township and Cutler Township. And those were part of a special deal that was arranged at Paoli. I'm not sure why, but early on Paola was called Paoli. And they were sold as Indian trust lands, and then later in Franklin County, a lot of Franklin County was sold as Ottawa trust lands. It's red tape. The expression red tape is from this. This is it. Legal documents, deeds, court deeds, everything tied up, attached. There were no paper clips. They're attached with red tape. And so if you wanted to avoid red tape, you stayed out of court, because that's what these all were. It's a good story, except obviously there's green tape and there's gold tape, so it wasn't quite nailed down yet, but it was still definitely where the word comes from. These are actual deeds that are once the land is for sale. And this one is made out to Benjamin Adkins, and that's a Cass Countyan. One of them is made out to Green Davison. This one's Green Davison. This is our pièce de résistance. I know he's not from Cass County, but this is our deed for William Quantrill. When Quantrill came to Kansas with Torrey and Beeson, they all claimed land. Quantrill shouldn't have because he was underage, but he did, and somehow or other, we have his deed.